People, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. How are we all, guys? I hope you're all well wherever it is that you are around the world, guys. Do me a favor, make sure you're smashing the likes. We've got lots to catch up on today. We are going to talk about them pre-season review games, especially the one against Celtic over the weekend. Worth the discussion. We've got the panel to join. We've got Osimhen to talk about as well, which we're going to get into as well very shortly. As well, so much to get into. Chelsea striker news. Chelsea's recent results in pre-season not looking great to start with. Lots to discuss on that. What's the issues? Where are we going wrong? Is it specific areas? Is it just a system thing? We've got all of that to look into as well. But make sure, guys, you do me a favor. Smash the like buttons, guys. Smash the like buttons. Let's get these likes up as quickly as we can, please. Subscribe if you're new to both GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. Hit the thumbs, guys. Hit the thumbs and let's cue that intro. People, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV. So we're here to talk about the pre-season review, mainly the Celtic game that we've just watched over the weekend. We're also here to bring you some transfer news as well, guys, and we're going to be getting into some transfer news to start with as well. Big up to everyone that's in the chat at the moment. We nearly got 50 people in the building. I know it's a very hot day today. Everyone's probably wanting to enjoy the sun, get out, etc. I get that. So we'll do what we can for today. But then we're going to continue being more consistent and bringing you out shows throughout the week, especially the one against on Thursday. So on Thursday we will be coming back and after the game and doing a review on that as well for you guys. So please come and please keep smashing the likes and come and say hello. Let's say hello to some people in the chat. RD, what we saying? Good to see you. Ashraf's in the building. Napoli really expect us to swap Lukaku with Osimhen. We're never going to pay his wages. We're going to talk about that. Adil, what you saying? Good to see you, Leo, as well. Maresca will not improve Osimhen. He wants a mobile striker and not a target man. But in our squad, we need different profiles. Yes, very true. Good morning, friend from Nigeria. Good to see you, Emmanuel. How are you? Save Petrovic and Chalobah is what we want all. What we want all to do is here right now. Big up to you. Good to see you. Daniel Crane in the building as well. How are you, man? Big up to you. Nice to see you as well. Hot, guys. I'm not going to lie. It's a hot one today, isn't it? It's a hot one. Smash the likes. What you saying, Wayne? Good to see you as well. How are you, bro? Good to see you. Yeah, we're going to get into things, guys. Gusto on the bench when we could have gone right wing back. And Reece James, right centre back, and Santos could have. Yeah, but listen, there's a lots of like what ifs, whats, coulds, buts, shoulds, this, that, and the other. It wasn't a good watch, in my opinion. I think there was, and we're going to talk about. I don't want to get into it yet because it's going to be something. We're going to talk about the game a bit later. I want to get through the transfer news quickly with you guys before we get into it, but we are going to discuss it. We have got some of the panel joining as well to go through it as well, guys. Nearly over 100 people in the building already. Good to see every single one of you. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. If we can have somehow a deal for Osimhen, we need to pull the trigger. We can't keep going on without goals. Well, this is what I was going to ask you. Do we need to still sign a striker? Do you feel that Osimhen's a good is a good striker for us to sign? Is he the right striker, right profile for you guys as well? Let's start by stop calling it inverted fullbacks because inverted means they stick to being fullbacks. And then every now and then go into Senenia. What was Reece James doing, Wesley? He was going from fullback into the middle and then back into fullback and then into the middle and then back into fullback. Listen, I want to talk about that because it's something I do want to talk about really and truly. Mary, what you saying? Big up to you, Leo. Thank you. Smash the likes. That's what Leo's saying, guys. Hit the thumbs. Nearly 100 people in the building. Jackson, left wing. Who says no? Good question. Is playing a standard 3-2-2-2-1. That's not inverting fullbacks. I don't think we start off in that system though. Again, I don't want to get into it yet, but we will get into it. And obviously, this is a fair point we can talk about as well. I probably need to watch us play again as well. I'm not going to lie, but in terms of watching the setup, it didn't feel like it was like that in game. It did. It went into that in game. Hence why we had the had the holes. But yeah, I will definitely have to go back over it again, to be quite honest, just to double check it. But I think the real question is, does anyone know better than him for us? We'll have to see. Wayne says, I think BVB, young striker, and is early. You want what's he, is it Makoko? Is it Makoko you're talking about? No, mate. One defender was going into CDM from kickoff. Yeah, majority of the game he was there. So I remember seeing Reece James in the back three as well. So it's one of them guys, isn't it? Like, it's very hard to judge early doors. But we're going to get into it. Tosin's been playing back four most of his career, and Maresca throws him into a back three. I don't think we should have got rid of Chalobah if we're going to play the back three. I think Chalobah, out of all of them, is the most well-equipped to play in that role, in my opinion. And this is why there's a slight annoyance to allowing him to go when we're going to probably potentially do this moving forward. I do think the inverted role requirement will change later on. I'm not too sure if it's going to include seeing Reece James doing that frequently. I might be wrong. I actually think when Cucurella comes back, that it will go into a back three with Reece James holding the right centre back position, which makes it a bit more balanced. And I think what Maresca needs to do and has to try and do as well. Yes, Josh, big up to you. What he has to try and do is work out the balance. Who's the best to do the role that's required to get the best out of what he's trying to do? Because watching Reece James do it, I mean, we're going to save it for now because I want to get into it. We are going to get into it. Someone told me when any of our players in their whole entire career have played, but it's a different setup, Wesley. He was always going to play in transition, that sort of system. The three at the back is not a shock, in my opinion. It's just how we are off ball, and watching us off ball, it was, yeah. Chalobah started on a sat in friendly against literally no one. Chalobah started on sat in a friendly against literally no one. No, he didn't. Who? Anyway, let me get to what I was getting to. We're going to get to the game anyway. I'm confused already. I'm looking confused already. We ain't even started. Anyway, we're going to get into it. I'm going to get people in as well to have the talk. This is a new away kit, guys. What are we saying? What are we saying about this away kit right now? Are we liking the away kit? Because I think it looks quite nice. I'm not going to lie. I think this away kit here is pretty tidy. I'm still not too sure about the badge, though. I don't know why they've invested in the red in the badge. I wish they'd just kept it blue. We're blue. We're not red. Do you know what I mean? Sort that out. Sort that out. Yeah, but it's different, isn't it? I've seen some top quality individuals come back from injury play with reserves. You know what I mean? I think it could work, but he can't have that shit in the middle. Oh my God, don't get me started on him. Orange and blue. It looks red to me. I'm not going to lie. It looks red. It's horrible. No, not at all. They played. I know what he's saying. I just think that when you look at the level of defenders that we have at the moment, getting rid of Chalobah doesn't make too much sense, even though it does, because we need to get rid of one, and he's the one that gives us the most profit. But we're going to talk about it in a bit. Looking ice cold in the burning heat, showing our new away kit. Jackson floating it as well, who's not returned. We are missing players, guys, also. Let's not forget Jackson, Cucurella, Caicedo still to come back in. There's also the returns of Enzo Fernandez. There's Conor Gallagher to come into the team as well. We've not seen Kieran Dewsbury-Hall play yet in the midfield. There's a lot of players that are not still in. We've not got the full squad back yet, Palmer. There's a lot. That's a lot. So we'll have to see what happens. But there you go. There's a new away kit. Right, I want to get into a bit of transfer news before we go back into the game. And I want to talk about the new goalie signing, and I want to get your thoughts as well. I understand Chelsea's new signing, Philip Jorgensen, is on his way to the United States. He travelled for contract signing in the US to join Enzo Maresca's squad on a pre-season tour. Deal until 2030 plus option until 2031, set to be sealed. Now, I've got a really interesting side to this goalkeeper thing. And I want to share it with you guys because it's something I wanted to talk about. Now, this guy, how good is he? I don't know. I'll be quite honest with you. I've seen clips of him. I've watched him. He looks comfortable on the ball, probably more comfortable than any of the goalies we've got at the moment. That will show in time. Is he a good shot stopper? He's not bad, but I wouldn't say he's unbelievable. So just, yeah, he's okay. Do I think he's commanding in the box from what I've seen of him? Meh. I think his decision making when the balls come in are a bit questionable. But then it goes back to the whole thing of why ain't Chelsea signing that pedigree goalkeeper? Why are we not going and signing 60, 70 odd £1 million Diogo Costa or a Maganon, for example? Someone like that that's at the next sort of level of goalkeeper. And then you look at the goalkeepers we've got at the moment and what we're trying to do. Now, from what I think is happening, from what I've heard, is that Chelsea supposedly don't value the goalkeeping position as much as any other positions in the team. And the reason for that is because of the resale value. When it comes to resale value and you buy a goalie for 70, 80 million, 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to sell him for profit. You're actually probably going to lose money because he's going to stay for a while. And then by the time you actually get onto selling him, the market for goalkeepers and the demand for it for a specific amount isn't going to work. So what they've decided to do, or are doing, as you can see, is they'd rather have an array of 20 to 30 million pound goalies, Sanchez, him, Petrovic, Kepa still on the books. There's 4 goalies there, 3 or 4 goalies in the team. And then what they're doing with these goalies is they're bringing them in and, you know, they're buying them at a level. Don't get me wrong, you're not buying like supposedly worse off, not good enough goalkeepers, but buying goalkeepers at a level, getting them in the team, and then trying to see if they can flip them a little bit for profit. If they don't, they take a hit and then they go on to the next goalie. But they don't prioritize it because they don't see it as an area where they can make money. They don't see it as an area where they can make money. Now, for me, I think the goalkeeping area is a very important area. You know, it always has been in the past. You should spend money on a very good goalie because goalkeepers ultimately can save you 15 to 20 points a season on their own. And Peter Cech done it for Chelsea for a number of times, and that's happened. But this new regime and what they're trying to do, they don't value it like that. They don't value it, and they look at it from a business standpoint. They don't think that spending 80, 90 million on a goalie is the right thing to do. What they would rather have is 3 or 4 goalies in around the mixtures of the same prices and flip them. And if they're not good, get rid of them, and then they go on to the next one that they can find for 20, 30 million. I don't think that's great, personally. I don't think that's a great way of doing things. They seem to think it is, maybe because they feel that out of the money they spent, one of them will come good. But also the reason they don't want to do it is because of the books. It looks better on the books to have 3 or 4 players paid at 20 to 30 million than it does to have one goalie on the book that costs you 80 million. But then my argument in all of this is the 3 or 4 goalies that we've got cost more than that one goalie anyway. So why don't you just get that one goalie that is going to maybe be here for time and bring that level of class that we need, that demand, and an area that we don't have to worry about, and then have one of the, 1 or 2 of them as backup or whatever. Do you get what I mean? But to them, it's a book thing as well. You buy someone at 89 million, it doesn't look as pretty. If you buy a couple at 20, 30 million, it looks pretty on the books. So reselling them is a big reason why. The books, it looks prettier. And number 3, they just don't value the goalkeeping area as much as we used to back in day. They just see it as an area that you just need to find a goalie that can play ball and do certain jobs well, which is just, it's an intriguing way to look at it, So expectation is to reach the 2 finals and top 6s. Well, that's not a bad shout. I can't wait 10 more years until these players reach their prime. Berkio. People are trusting blindly without knowing what it is. Yeah, well, this is the problem though. None of us know what it is. We can all guess. We just have this. I can fix mentally towards. We just have this. I can fix him mentally towards goalkeeping. Because they don't know what they are doing, is what E4 CFC says. We are turning into Arsenal having 6 goalkeepers the whole time. Like I said, they just don't value it, and they just think it looks better on the books. And I just find it very weird that they wouldn't spend 80 million on one goalie, but rather have 3 or 4 goalies at 80 to 100 million on the books because it looks prettier on the books. And because they know that if they don't work, they can just ditch them, take a loss or take a hit. Or if they do work, they might make a little bit of profit on and keep them on. And then just get rid of the others and then buy another 20 million goalie and another 20 million goalie. It's interesting. Anyway, there's your goalkeeper. We'll see how he gets on when he comes into the team. I do expect him to come in and play, obviously, and I think he has to, because watching Sanchez over the weekend, boy, we're going to get into that as well. That's something we're going to talk about very soon. Now, news that came out today on Victor Osimhen from Fabrizio Romano. Napoli keep looking for solutions for Victor Osimhen as they want to bring on in Romelu Lukaku as soon as possible. They understand that Napoli could also be open to discussing Osimhen as a part of the Lukaku talks with Chelsea. Osimhen said yes to PSG, but the deal is in standby between the clubs. So, is there an opportunity that there may be a part exchanger with Chelsea Football Club? Well, Fabrizio Romano goes on via CFC Players, and it says here, Napoli could be open to discussing Osimhen in talks with Chelsea over Lukaku. And then he goes on to say further on here, let's see if Chelsea can find a way with Napoli, because Chelsea already said no. Clause and salary is too much for us. But because Osimhen has a big salary at Napoli, Napoli could be willing to open the door to Osimhen to Chelsea in order to bring in Lukaku, but depends on Chelsea. No, it don't just depend on Chelsea though, Fabrizio, does it? It depends on Napoli, because Napoli are the ones, and Osimhen, because they're the ones that are charging or wanting so much. So unless Osimhen's going to say, look, I'll cut my wages in half, and Napoli say, look, we'll take 60 million cash plus Lukaku, which will give them close to 100 mil. Anyway, because I think Lukaku's 35 or 37 mil at the moment, supposedly. I don't see. Maybe we got to keep an eye on this. Maybe this is something that could transpire into something later on. Well, it's a good question, Gary. And I don't feel that the price tag justifies him, in my opinion. He's, again, a very good striker in the brackets. When you look at the brackets of where strikers are at the moment in the market, he's there, he's up there because of his goal scoring record compared to others. His track record could maybe argue slightly with against. I look at it more about the profile element of Victor Osimhen, and I look at what we're trying to do at the moment, and I try and work out whether he will fit the Maresca style. And one of the big things that we did wrong last time round with Lukaku was bring him into a squad that was just not right for him. The profiles of players around him as his profile for the team and what we needed at the time was wrong, because what we actually needed from a striker under Tuchel was a hard worker, someone that was going to run off the balls, hold the ball, chase the ball, press, had the energy, get involved, get stuck in. Ain't Lukaku, is it? He was more someone that waited for the ball to come to him and he'd scored. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was, barring the Aston Villa goal. Listen, he had some good games when he first came to Chelsea where I thought, okay, maybe this could work. But it just never really looked balanced. And with Osimhen, I look at him and I think to myself, he's a good striker, and we do need strikers that are going to score goals, because he does score goals. Ultimately, he misses a lot of chances, by the way, as well, as most strikers do. I just don't know about his all-round game, what he does off the ball, in terms of dropping deep, holding the ball, carrying the ball, working as a team, being able to link up play, the 1-2s running off. Is he the overall right profile for what we're trying to do? That's my question mark. I'm not sure on him. When he score goals, I think he should score. Well, he should score goals because we will create. It's just, will we get the best out of him in what we're trying to do in the Maresca system? That's the question mark. Well, is that going to be the case? Big up someone, lock the door at Colin. Lukaku is on his way. Yeah, Lukaku's back at training at Chelsea, by the way, as well, which sucks, but it's part of what it is. Jim, have you fallen out with love with Tony? No, because I think Ivan Tony would do the work we needed in holding and dropping deep and carrying and this, that, and the other. I just don't see Ivan Tony being an option for Chelsea because I don't think we'll go for him because of his age. We just got this age problem, haven't we? Trust me, Jim. So average in build-up, so average. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So, these are the things that worry me because I was against the majority of the fan base when Lukaku was signed. I remember going on Monsters Live and everyone was trying to cook me because I was saying I wanted Haaland over Lukaku. And I said to him, this is why. He doesn't fit what we're doing. You're going to have problems. You ain't going to score as many goals. He's a goal scorer, but he's not, his profile's wrong. He's different to what he's doing. They're doing at Milan to it. Nah. He will fit. He's the glue. We just need someone to score goals. That's what I got told. And then, the rest was history, right? The rest was history. Taylor can hold up the ball. We're hard working. I don't like Dovbyk. I'll be quite honest with you, where I watched Dovbyk. He is nowhere near at the level ready for Chelsea. He's doesn't get involved enough in the game, doesn't work hard enough off the ball. He's just raw. He's just very raw, in my opinion. I love how the price is an issue for Osimhen, yet we spent 200 million plus on midfielders. One performed as a tournament worldie, and the other had one season at Brighton. And again, Adrian, just to clarify this, because this is where our fan base go into this narrow-minded thinking process. I don't agree with how much we spent on the players that we signed in midfield, even though we spent it. But guess what? It was a necessity because without Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante, and all the individuals that we didn't have in midfield, we needed midfielders. And, it was overpriced. Brian took us for a ride. We know that story. Enzo Fernandez story, saga was the same. We all know that. But why are we going to keep thinking that the right mindset is to just go out and spend that money if it isn't right? We moan about our club doing it, but then when a club don't do it, we moan about it. So how do you win? And I'm not talking about you specifically, Adrian. I'm just talking about Chelsea fans, especially on social media. It's so fickle. They're so fickle. They just want to moan about everything. You can't do anything. We spend money, they moan. We don't spend money, they moan. For me, it's about just getting the right profile. It's key. So there you go. Victor Osimhen to Chelsea could be potentially beyond. Let's see what happens. I look forward to the potentials of hearing more on that. But we do need a striker. I feel... See, this is the thing for me. We need a striker, but the market's shit. So do we just buy for the sake of buying, just to get a striker? Because we need it and just rush? Or do our scouting department need to go and do their job and find the right striker for the manager, for the profile, for everything? Yes. So you got Mark Guiu, who actually I think looks quite good, personally, from watching him in pre-season. He's a nuisance off the ball, and I like that. You got Jackson to come back. Yes, he doesn't score tons of goals, but he will contribute. He will score some at some point. You just need the others around and Kunku to contribute. You need the wingers and Sterling. You need Mudryk to step up. You need Madueke to step up. You need all these guys to chip in. The old Chelsea teams all had wingers that chipped into goals, that scored double digits. Hazard, Pedro, Mata, Oscar William. These guys, they all done their bit when it came to contributing, whether it was assisting, whether it was scoring. We always tend to get away with it. I don't feel the same right now with the current batch that we have. And yes, we need a striker, but if the market isn't allowing us to pick the striker that is the right profile or the right striker for what we're trying to do, we shouldn't just go and buy strikers for the sake of it. And then you look at the scouting team. Go and find one. They bought Mark Guiu in. No one thought you were going to do that. And guess what? He looks all right. Yeah, he's raw. And yeah, he's not going to score you 35 goals straight away. But you can see there's something potentially there with him. Brower, for me, he's gone. He needs to go. Like, I watched him, and he just doesn't fit the profile. When I talk about profile, look at Brower and his performance the other day. He just doesn't suit what we're trying to do. The technical side, the linking, the movement, running, where to go, position. It doesn't work. And that worries me about Osimhen, because you have to be so, with Maresca, from what I'm seeing, it's so fixated on where you are, where you position yourself, where you go, where to be in this position. Or when that happens, where you need to be there. Or, like, they need to be very screwed on, in my opinion. We need no striker. We do. I would be happy if a winger. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, no to Dovbik, but agents Tony. Yeah, Tony Watkins. Watkins is good. He works hard for the ball. Is he consistent in front of goal, or did he just have one good season? I don't know. Our spine worries me. Goalkeeper situation is a mess. Well, now we brought Jorgensen in. We'll see. No reliable, experienced centre back. I agree. I think all of our defenders, and we're going to talk about the games now, especially the Celtic game. I think all of our defenders none of them impress me. None of them. We're going to talk about that. And no prolific forward. There's not one in the market. This is the problem. Too many maybe players, not enough quality. That's the market. Unfortunately, it sounds stupid, but that is the market. Go and find the next individual that's going to do that, Right. Who will be returning to the bridge for the games with Real Madrid, City, and Inter Milan? These: Cucurella, Cole Palmer, and Mark Cucurella will be back on August the 6th for the Inter Milan game on the 11th. Actually, no, I got that wrong. They're only back for the Inter Milan game, right? They're not back for the Madrid and City game. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. Might be me. But anyway, they'll be back. Enzo Fernandez is with the team. The goalkeeper we just bought is in the USA, doing his medical. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see, once the team are back, how we perform, how he sets us out. Now he's going to have the quality there as well, with certain individuals being back in the team. Palmer, Caicedo. There's certain things that I saw in the game. We're going to get to the game now, where I feel like we just lacked certain personnel in the team off the ball. Gui for me is on full go because Barca aren't stacked in the strike as well. I wouldn't look at it like that, Worry yet. I think it's early doors with Gui. We'll see. Yeah, but that can't be right, because Cucurella at the moment, for me, needs to start. He needs to start at the moment, Vega, another defender that we have on the book, says this: in every game you want to win. Chelsea especially has to win every game, but we are in pre-season. The most important thing is the process, the connection between each other. When the time comes to play for the first Premier League game versus City on August the 18th, that is when it counts, and that is when we have to make sure. And listen, everything he says there is spot on. I like his attitude. He's correct. Listen, they are only in pre-season. It's right. But if we don't win any games in pre-season and get to City in the form that we're in, fans are going to worry. And I'm sure he's going to worry. I like what his comments are, and they're positive and this, that, and the other. But watching the game on Saturday against Celtic, and do you know what? This is how I'd sum it up. I thought in the first half on the ball, I thought we looked quite fluid. I could see the plan going forward with the ball. We just lacked that clinical finishing. A little bit unlucky as well with the Sterling hitting the post and things like that. A little bit unlucky in front of goal, but you can see what we were trying to do. You can see that, that way that we break and link play and play balls wide and this, that, and the other, like very quick, direct, short passing in and through. My issue with it, especially in the first half, was the off the ball. Because when you play Lavia, Carney, and Nkunku and ask them to play as your 2 8s, because that's what he was doing. And I know it went into a 3-2-2-2-2, but off the ball, they were well far ahead up the pitch with Lavia just in no man's land, to be quite honest with you, in most part of the game. You know, you could see right there that we needed midfielders. Midfielders that are natural to the 8s, natural to the 6s, natural, do you know what I mean? Just to get about with that energy. And I do think of bringing in a Caicedo next to Alavia will make a difference. It will. I do. Moving forward. Maybe someone else in maybe a Drewsbury or an Enzo or someone who's a little bit more better on the ball, allowing Nkunku to be a bit further forward anyway, which he was. But I feel like he was playing in this like 8 role where he had to like find pockets and stuff, which I just found very weird. You know, and then on top of that, I mean, we can talk about the defense. And do you know what? There's conceding goals because the system's a bit meh. And don't get me wrong, the system off the ball was a bit meh. They looked confused. They looked lost. They looked like they didn't know what they were doing. That's not good. Off the ball, they looked confused as hell. And that's where the gaps were appearing and Celtic were punishing us. But when your defenders are just ball watching, constant ball watching, every goal, ball watching, this ain't got nothing to do with system. This has nothing to do with system for me. This is just basic defending. This is what you learn when you're training, when you've got a ball coming in here, but you need to know where you are. You know, like, yeah, he's coming in. Yeah, you know, like, be aware of your surroundings. None of them were aware of their surroundings. And that annoyed me because there's a way of losing. And losing the way that we did, along with Sanchez as well. And don't get me wrong, he made a very good save. He made a very good save in the first half. But his ball playing out isn't good enough. Let's be serious. He just isn't. People say he's very good at playing the ball out. He's just not. He really just is not. He's okay. He's better than Petrovic at maybe doing it. Yeah. But he's just not that good. How many times is the man trying to play the most weirdest pass through the middle and just getting intercepted? On top of that, he always puts our defenders at risk or players at risk. He'll play a ball knowing that his defender that's receiving the ball's got about 2 or 3 players around him. It's just like he has no awareness. Like, his awareness is crap. Like, he's just not good. For me, he's just not a good goal. I've never really liked him that much anyway. He just isn't going to work for me in the long run. And if Maresca sticks to this naivety that Poch had of sticking to him, sticking, he will get punished. He will get punished because Sanchez, what this system does for me, I'll tell you what it is. Where it's such a high-risk system, you've got to have specific profiles in it. You need right plays. You need the right balance. You need the right person to invert. You need the right midfielders in the middle to be able to cover the areas. You need the forwards to be effective when they receive the ball and creative. You know, you really need to be intricate. It's a high-risk type of system that we're trying to play. What it does for me is exposes players. It just exposes them. It shows that maybe they're not good enough to play in this system. It actually exposes how good they are as well, in my opinion, because it puts the responsibility on them in position. And there was just too many players that just got caught out, you know. And I'm going to get the panel in a second, but I want to go through some of this because we can. And the first one's this one, because this is just poor. So they've got the ball up here. You can see it, right? This is, I think, the first goal. So Colwill, who, again, and I know Pochettino played him there, I don't like seeing him out there. He's playing like a left back with Mudryk tucking in. Now, Mudryk can see this man here, but just look at them all. Look at all their eyes. Look, all of them. Why is he not looking behind him? Why is he like, so watch. So look at their eyes. Look at all of them, yeah? Even Mudryk, yeah? Look at this point. He's not even made a pass yet. Ball watching. Ball watching. Look. You can see the run there, brother. You can see that a man is running there and you're still fucking walking. Look at Fofana. Sanchez is shouting at Fofana and pointing behind Fofana. Look at Fofana. Look at him. Look. And look, oh, and then it takes that of a reaction to wake up and realise that we're out of position, yeah? Ball comes in here. Look, it's too late. Look, Badiashil's asleep. And this is my problem with Badiashil. He's always 5 seconds behind reality of football. We're watching him, yeah? He's not even realised. Look, they're jogging. Look at Fofana still. So that ball's gone in there, yeah? Look at Fofana's reaction now, look. He's still not looking to his left. He's still not looking to his left. Look. What, like, what? You can't even blame Sanchez for that goal. You might as well just put mannequins there. You might as well just put mannequins there because they weren't aware of just this is basic defending. It really infuriates me. I hate it when I just see players ball watch. Ball watching really pisses me off. Yeah. Because look, it's just lazy. It's just the lack of trying, the lack of awareness. The fact that Badiashil's only woke up now and Mudryk decides to run after he realizes the ball was going to be played there when he should have been there anyway. And Fofana is asleep, absolutely asleep. Is just abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. And it's just it's an absolutely poor first goal to give away. I'm sorry. All of them. It's crap. And that is not nothing to do with system, guys. That hasn't got anything to do with, the Maresca side of things. That's just down to pure defending. Pure not being aware of what's around you. Seeing who's making the runs or watching the runs. Like, it's just poor. And I know it's only pre-season and I feel agitated about it. But if we go into next season doing shit like that, I am going to be fuming. I am going to be fuming because now it's not just about the system. Now it's down to the players for me, because that's just poor. Forward, I'm going to get you in 2 seconds, bro. Just got 2 more clips and then we'll get you and then we'll go through it all together. We've got ads to join us very soon as well, guys. And then this happens. Is it this one? It's not even this one. Where am I? Wrong one. I want this one. And then this one happens. This one. This one. So, gets the ball. So, we've won the ball back. Tosin's gone back, right? So, Sanchez has got the ball here. This is what I mean about Sanchez, right? All right, look. He can't go to Tosin because it's blocked off here. So, he decides to play the ball in to Badiashil. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. Badiashil's in trouble here because he's got 2 Celtic players pressing him. But when you do a dumbass pass like this, what the fuck is that? like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you're under pressure. And do you remember when I said to you guys, this system will show vulnerabilities in your ability as a player because it's a high-risk system. It's going to ask a lot more. It's going to ask you to do individual things a lot more. It's how he wants to play. It's what he's going to be doing. You will get found out very quickly in this system if you're not up to speed. And yes, it's pre-season at the moment, but these are the things he's going to have to erase. This pass here, he could have still made that pass to Osimhen. It's just a direct pass. Like, and then Tosin could have opened his body, probably got over here and then played it down the wing. That's what he could have done, right? But because the pass, like, like, it didn't even... he passed to the Celtic player. He literally passed it to the Celtic player. Yeah, and then you get to there, Tosin scrambling, thinks he's going to shoot. Sanchez has gone down. And then, like, it's just crap, guys. It's just crap. Like, it's crap. I'm sorry, it's crap. Like, he could have made that pass, even on the press. All you have to do is do a straight pass into Tosin, who could have opened his body out. But he passed it to the Celtic defender. Like, and then there's... And I need to go back to that, actually. Like this goal. Then there was this goal. Where is it? Yeah. Then there was this one. Then there was this one. Okay? So, Madueke gets the ball here. Right? That's Madueke. I can't show the top because there's stuff there. He does the like the crappiest pass. Like, what are you doing there? All right, crappiest passing. There's no one there. And we get hit. Now, look at this, right? So Gusto goes, press, right, fine. Tries to win the ball. Toss him. What's he doing? What's he doing? Ball watching. What's Badia Shield doing to the reaction of this guy making the run? Jogging. Look, it's too late at this point. All he does is a dink over the top. They think Gusto's going to stop it. He doesn't. Dinks it over the top. They're ball watching. Now they're awake. Oh, now we're in trouble. Now it gets to here, right? And look, they can still recover that. They're both quick. They can both get back. They get to here. And like, this is why Sanchez ain't good enough, right? Because my man took a bad touch. And that bad touch was there. He takes a bad touch. Sanchez is still standing there. Look, he's still standing there. Look, he's still standing there. And he just gets nutmegged. It's just crap. From Sanchez to him. Because what Sanchez should have done when he's running in is come out here. Now, come. Close the gap. Close the gap. Run in towards it. Make it harder for him. Because once he makes that touch there, he ain't going to score if Sanchez comes out. But Sanchez doesn't come out. He stands there, stands there, stands there, stands there, stands there, and then opens his legs and gets nutmegged. Like, I'm sorry, that's just poor. It's just poor. It's just poor. That's poor defending. Again, awareness, not being aware of what's around you. Not being aware of what's around you. And it's just poor. And you can't go into next season. We can't go into next season with that type of crap. I'm sorry. It's just like, yeah, it is a high line. Yes, it's asking a lot because we are playing so high. But we have quick defenders. We have strong defenders. If they could just open their bodies up a bit more and what's going on around them, which is what Maresca's got to work on with them. I'm sorry. Maresca needs to drill into these guys, yeah, to be aware of what's around you. Get Mark Guiu or Jackson or whatever to just make runs in behind and make them do this. Be aware because this is just Sunday League football for me. It's poor. It's poor from all of them. Colwill, Fofana, Badia Shield, Tossing. All of them. It was crap. But then there's the good side of it. And listen, as bad as we were defensively, I could see what we were trying to do. And I do think it falls down to personnel. I think it does fall down to personnel and what we're trying to do with the ball. And so we received the ball here, right? Now this is what I think we're going to be trying to do, which is the good part of it. So Badiashile gets the ball here. Lavia drops in. I think it's Lavia. I can't tell what James plays the ball. Right. So we get the ball here. And again, look how direct the ball is. The space is there. So we get someone drops in here, which I think I can't tell might be Carney or someone. Gets the ball, receives, and then quick 1-2 football out to the wing. Madueke's 1-on-1 with his guy now. Now it's important. How many players can we get into the box quick enough? Being direct and attacking the box. He attacks, which he does well in. Drops it back in. Carney gets into a good role here. Cuts in, gets in. And it goes out for a corner. And there were intricate moments again where we get the ball. And we play direct. Nkunku now drops in. Now look, already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in the opposition area. That's a lot of players, that we're putting forward or playing forward. And then Nkunku moves forward, finds Madueke on the wing, and we're direct. And there was some very good fluidity moments. And here, look, shoot. There are some very good moments in the first half specifically of us doing that. Mark Guiu now, another one, playing it out to Madueke. There were like good moments. And we had a lot of chance. Listen, we had we had a lot of chances yesterday, right? Lots of chances. And this one was Sterling. Good one touch football. Look, 1-2, 1-2. And I like that. Very good. 1-2, straight and we're in. And then it just needed that final pass there from Sterling to set it up. So, is there a pattern in a style, in a way that we want to attack? Yes, there is a pattern. There is a fluidity in how we go forward. And I like it. But then it now falls to attackers being consistent in their moments, making the right decisions, when to release the ball, when to make the run in behind, when to. These are all little things they've got to get on, right? Because with the ball, I can see what we're trying to do, right? Off the ball is the biggest problem at the moment, really and truly. I mean, we created a lot. Yes, we didn't score. We're unlucky with Sterling and whatever and some others. On another day, maybe we put a couple of them away, fine. But in terms of how we were organised off the ball, wasn't good enough. And the defence and Sanchez were a big issue in that Celtic game for me. And we've got Ads back in the building. How are we doing, Ads? How are you, bro?
I'm good, brother, man. I'm good. Good to be back.
Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. We're talking about that Celtic game at the moment. I want to get your thoughts on it, from what you saw from sort of first half to second half. The style, the system, where you felt it went wrong. Like, what was your overall thoughts on the game, mate?
Yeah, interesting game. Very eventful game. What I like to do generally is when I watch Chelsea play, I like to first just recognize who we were playing against and where they're coming into the game from, because it's one thing. Let's say we drew 1-1 against Aston Villa, or not even Aston Villa. Let's say we drew 1-1 against flipping West Brom, right? That's a dead result. But if we draw 1-1 against Real Madrid, okay, you can talk about it differently, right? So I feel like with this game, we have to recognize that Celtic, this was this is our second preseason game coming off of Wrexham. This is their fifth preseason game, right? They're obviously clearly fitter, clearly more structured in their ideas with their coach. Brendan Rodgers has been there before as a coach, and I think he's managing them now, obviously second term, but I think he's been manager for maybe like a year now back at the job. So obviously they understand the system very well. So they're much different to us. So we're obviously not as fit, playing under a new manager again. So I think we have to take that into account. People are acting like, oh, we lost 4-1 to Celtic. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. But this is the same team that put 4 past City just a few days ago. So I think people need to be a bit just logical, in breaking down what happened. But that isn't to say that what happened wasn't bad or we can't talk about it. I know there was still a lot to talk about, which we'll get into. But overall, yeah, again, like I said, it was a very eventful game. Both teams were going at it, playing with no fear. And we saw the system. We saw it better than we saw it against Wrexham, because Wrexham just parked the bus. Celtic brought the game. They pressed high, aggressive on the ball, off the ball. So, yeah, we certainly have a lot to talk about. And yeah, some things we'll go into in more detail and be harsh. Some things I think we just need to be patient and let it really flesh out over preseason and the start of the season as well.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, listen, let's talk about the goals. The goals. I don't know if you watch me going through them. Now, I agree with you, and it's not a point of me. My anger doesn't come too much about system wise, because I do think that with a bit of time, with key players back, that can improve. We know that, and they need to be drilled quickly. And I think we do need to get as ready as we can, much ready as we can for the Man City game. But some of the goals that we highlighted that we conceded were more than just the system for me. And when you watch the awareness for the goals, that doesn't sit well with me. It's I don't like how we don't, our defenders are not aware of danger around them. Like the Wesley Fofana one, for example, on the first one, what are you doing? Paddy Shield, to even see that the guy in front of him is running in between Colwill and looking for the ball, and only reacts when the ball pass is made. Do you see these little things that when you're a defender, you learn these things as you're coming up, right? To sniff out danger, be aware where to position yourself. What was John Terry so good at doing when he played for us? He just saw danger all the time. He knew where to put himself every time when he knew the ball was coming in the box, that he could sniff out danger. And I just feel like for a lot of the goals, most of the goals, a lot of it was just a lack of awareness. All right, it was system based because they were breaking us down easily. We get that. I understand that. But when coming to defenders and sniffing out danger, I just felt it was very poor, mate. I don't know what your thoughts were on the goals we conceded.
Yeah, I think it's a good way to break it down is talking about the defense first, including obviously the goalkeeper. No, we conceded some comical goals, some comical goals. But even looking at that first half, where again we did actually start really well. Like first 7 minutes, we had 3 chances. I'm thinking, okay, this Morocco was popping, it was kind of moving me. And then we literally got popped off the park after that, which is kind of mad. But yeah, again we'll get into the midfield and the attack after. But with just the defense, like where I can sometimes forgive some midfielders and some attackers for not putting in 100% of like in a run in terms of, and sometimes forgive it because again it is preseason only our second game. Okay, yeah, I'm still here. So I just had a call coming in. Sorry. But yeah, no.
What's that?
Yeah, again, where I can forgive the midfielders for not giving 100% tracking back every single time, I cannot forgive the defenders not doing that because it's not a lack of effort. Because there's no reason for you to lack effort in terms of tracking back when you're a defender. You have to track runs. You have to see it, recognize danger, and then stop it. But where again, somebody like a Badiashile was so reactionary. Where again, Fofana was literally criminal defending because not only do you not recognize the danger, but then your teammate Sanchez, fair play to him, was actually saying, "Yo, brother, check this. Like the guy's here. He's offside now, but he's gonna come into play soon. Be aware." There was no response. He reacted so slowly to it, which was embarrassing, really. And again, the fact that like the amount of goals we conceded, but about the amount of big chances that we conceded as well, even after the changes as well, like it just gives me a lot of concern. Because again, I'm not. It's too early in the season to get angry or to be like, "Oh my god, it's going to be a bad season." But I can be very concerned looking at these defenders, feeling the emotion that I felt a lot of last season, which is that none of these guys give me that confidence that they're going to be part of a sturdy back line that's only going to concede maybe 40 odd goals next season. No, I feel like we're going to concede 50, maybe 60 again, and that's unacceptable.
Ads. Look at how Fofana's reaction here. Look. Even there, so right, forget here where they've got the ball, right, and you can see that he's going to make that pass all day. Mudryk is asleep for me. He's asleep. He should be.
That's another problem as well.
No, he should be there. But Badiashile, look, Badiashile only wakes up when the ball then gets passed, but can see it, which makes it even worse. So he then reacts. Yeah, he's even late to mark his man. But watch Fofana, look. So even when that ball comes in there, he still isn't looking over his shoulder. Look, he's still just jogging. Like he's just
like I said, that's embarrassing and unacceptable, to be honest. And like it wasn't the only time that happened. That happened in other occasions where they got in behind us and Fofana was just really on his heels. And again, if you look at it tactically, it was interesting because we talked about it in the GC as well. That like when we were pressing high, Fofana's role at time was to press onto Hatate, which was their left centre mid. So at times like Fofana would literally be next to like Nkunku and Carney when we were trying to press high. And like I get that sometimes he wasn't always there and maybe his fitness he's still trying to get fully back up. But here, this is meant to be your bread and butter. Your defending in the box hasn't changed from when you were playing under-8s football. Like it's still the same. You have to react to danger. And the lack of awareness and reacting to danger was embarrassing.
What are they doing? I still that really. I know it's pre-season. I'm not winding myself up about it, but it does wind me up a bit because it's just that could be a Premier League game at home, and you're telling me that they're going to sleep like that. Like I'm sorry, that's just AJ. Come on, man.
I want to know what Reece is. That Reece James right there, 24. Who's 24? Go back.
Reece James as well.
Go back like 3 seconds. Go back like 3 seconds. Like. Reece James, I mean, I don't know if he sees him. I know Fofana doesn't see the goal scorer. I know Badiashile doesn't see the goal scorer.
Yeah, but Sanchez is shouting at him anyway.
Yeah, but that's why it's criminal. But the reason why it's criminal edge is because like if Jim goes back like 3 or 4 seconds again, like Sanchez was even from like here shouting out, "Yo, where's like?" And obviously, I get from here like Reece James is probably thinking more about the guy on the outside of a minute, like the guy in the middle. He's probably thinking, "Okay, Fofana will react once he comes into play," but Fofana never reacted. Sanchez is shouting, "Yo, where's look at this guy here," and he still didn't react, and it's just criminal.
Looking, look at his. If I don't know if I'm accurate, but he's not. He
hasn't looking over his left shoulder.
He didn't look, and it's like he didn't. How could he not hear him either? Like Sanchez is right there. I mean, the stadium's not that loud. Like freaking no, like how can you not hear him?
That is criminal.
Ball watching right there.
Look at that
criminal. Again, Baddy should be looking to cover that front post area a bit more. That's where, like you mentioned, Jem. Like that's where Terry was so good in covering that front post area to stop crosses coming in. But Fofana that's embarrassing for Fofana. Like genuinely embarrassing.
What annoyed me with Badiashile here is that you can see Colwell's been forced out. All right, we know Mudryk should be there, but he's not, right? The problem with Badiashile, I think, does have a bit is that he's got 2 players arriving in, so we can
Lavia got caught a bit ahead here, and like Mudryk didn't react. Mudryk was just chilling. Then obviously Cole goes to step out a bit, and maybe Buddy's thinking maybe we could play a bit of an offside champion, so that's why he's a bit lax. But once that happens, you need to be just a bit. You need to close the angle down a bit more. If you close the angle down a bit more, then you can maybe stretch and probably block that, which he doesn't do.
It's just asleep. They're all asleep. Even Reece. You know what annoys me about Reece James in this a bit as well? You're the captain. Why are you not shouting at Fofana to look over his back as well? Like, you can see him. They're not even talking to each other. You can see it, and it's just poor. And I know Sanchez is shouting at him, but
if you think about it, Reece James and Fofana are the two guys who have been in and out the team for the last 2 years, especially Fofana. So, you know, these guys are not match sharp, match fit. Definitely Fofana. Again, I know Reece James played a couple games last year, but still, like, these guys are just they need the game time, bro. They need the game time.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Listen, we're not trying to say that they're crap and we need to sell them or anything like that. It's not nothing to do with that. It's just, I think it's just irritating knowing that they're not doing the basics. And I mean, listen, I'm sure all of us watched the game. AJ, did you watch the game? This game?
I did. I watched it back after I knew the score.
Yeah, we could all clearly see that there was an issue off the ball system-wise. They just looked confused. You could see it, and especially from the midfield when you're playing Carney and Nkunku, we're going to talk about in a bit as well, with Lavia, to obviously the defence, to the forward line. They just all look slightly confused. But then it's just, again, you can't ignore the basics. Like Madueke gets the ball here, right? You could have just gone, look, Gusto's pointing. Just go back. You know, like, don't worry. He goes and does like this stupid, like, I don't even know what he was doing there. Like this silly pass, right? Which puts us in a bit of danger. So then we have to react. Now, what annoys me here is, you know, as a defender, one of the most important things that you learn as a defender is looking over your shoulder and being aware as the second defender, even though you're not as close, but you can see them, just being ready to go in case your man, you cover your man. You're there to help each other, yeah. But they both just watch, and by the time the ball's played, they wake up now. Look at them both, and I'm just like, fine. So it gets to this point. And I'm like, all right, can they recover? Right? They're scrambling to get back. But then what annoys me here is Sanchez, and he's not good. And this is where we're going to now, Sanchez. He takes a touch here, and it's a bad touch because he takes it away from the goal. But because Sanchez just stands there still, doesn't even come running out to try and shut the space, he allows them to come that close to him, by the way. Yeah. Even though he took a bad touch. And then nutmeg him and score. And that, for me, is just not good enough. As a goal,
he's got to smother that. I mean, listen, it was embarrassing. That goal was bad. I will talk on like Leslie's role in the goal. I don't think Leslie did a bad. I think he actually came on and improved us, actually, Leslie. But I'll talk about that maybe later on. But it was just the defense again. You're absolutely spot on, Jem. That it just was too easy to get in behind us. Like, we want to play aggressive, we want to play a high line, but it's too easy to get in behind us. And you look at the recovery pace across the back line. Except from obviously Gusto, who's got great pace. Reece James, relatively quick for a fullback. But other than that, like, we haven't got like these supreme athletes like a Saliba or a Konate who have got like this amazing recovery pace. Kanji even, like, who are that dominant. Maybe we got some relatively big guys, but I don't look at them as that dominant in their duels or recovery. So it's a concern for sure. But again, like I said, most of the game was just a concern for me. I'm not going to get too angry early on, early in the season, right? But where I was angry was with Robert Sanchez, and it stems from the whole goalkeeper saga this summer, which again we did try and solve. Now we've got Jorgensen in, which we hope is going to be a top number one. But all this talk about maybe it's going to be 2 number ones and they're going to fight for their spot, just like Mendy and Kepa when they did. No, none of that. When we bring a goalkeeper in, they need to be the certified number one, because I'm sorry, Brighton's backup goalkeeper who hasn't proven anything in a Chelsea shirt should not be given the freedom to be like, he can challenge for number one. No, this guy's benched or he's gone. Simple as that. Because that performance yesterday, he made a couple of good saves, which I'll give him credit for. But genuinely speaking, this is no like hyperbole, no reactionary shit, right? It was the worst display of ball playing I've ever seen from a goalkeeper in my life. Like, genuinely, no bullshit. Like, some of the passes, the long balls into touch, kicking it into the car park, kicking it at their players from 20 yards, like, it was just crazy. And then even the hospital ball to Baddy, like, just a lot of crazy shit that I saw that day, man. Oh my days. And then again he can do better here. You got to close the angle. You got to smother the guy at least. So again, for me, where we can say, players are hot. So just I know, literally, and just to land my final point is, like, again, where you can say some players are like building fitness, give them time, whatnot. I can give players time, but I'm not going to give a goalkeeper time when he can't do the basics. And he was showing a lot of these same mistakes last season. For me, you're bench for the whole year, bench for the whole season. Like, no way should he ever be starting for us at all.
I just don't get this whole thing. Oh, Sanchez should start because he's a better ball player. He ain't a better ball player, guys. I'm sorry,
Bro,
he's not.
And they've been gassing it every month for like a year. Oh, the manager rates Robert Sanchez because of his ball playing ability. Bro, stop lying to the people. We watched this man make. Maybe they think he can pass or he's able to pass, but also the decision making is part of being a good ball player. And his decisions are terrible.
It's never consistent. And the thing is with him is like compared to Petrovic isn't a ball playing keeper. He wouldn't try. Like with the Badiashile mistake, if he gets that, he's gonna just boot it into touch. And you know what it is? We give away a throw, whatever. But Sanchez will try to be a ball playing goalkeeper, but he just gets so many things wrong that you can't rate it highly at all.
It's crazy. I wanted you to go back to that still though, Jem, just real quick. I mean that same last video you was on, but just go to the beginning of the play.
1 second.
There's a big problem here, and I don't know why it happened last game and it's still happening this game.
What are we looking at?
So, all right, keep going like 2 more seconds until Badiashile and Tosin. All right, so here, Badiashile, he's like 15 yards out of position in this situation because he should be closer to Tosin and deeper towards Sanchez, because with this high line, somebody has to be very deep to cover. And that's how, if you watch how Van Dijk plays on Liverpool, he's literally always just a free man because he's just cleaning.
He should be like that. That's where he should be, like that.
Where he is now is where he should have been 5 frames ago. You understand? So I don't know what defender. I don't know how Tosin is. He's new to the club, but he is an experienced player, and somebody in the defense has to take over the leadership role. And right now, it looks like we have no leaders.
100%.
The one who has the most leadership skills for me was left at home, and he's busy picking up man of the match awards in dev games, which is Trevor Chalobah. And it's like, we left him at home to take the Sarsi there, who wasn't even fully fit. Like, criminal decision making once again from the club. Once again.
Yeah.
Chalobah stops 1 or 2 of those goals for sure. Just by being in the
Chalobah's awareness stops 2 of them goals. In my opinion,
I mean,
people go, "Oh, he ain't that good. He makes mistakes as well." He's a mad. I'm telling you.
They all make mistakes, and I think even Chalobah has some of his weaknesses. Has weaknesses as well. Again, they all do. None of these guys are peak centre backs, but at least Trevor, I have way more confidence watching him than I do the rest of these guys. Because Trev, when he first came into the team, he was a bit rusty because he didn't play most of the season. He was exiled last preseason as well. But when he came in and got a bit of like some tread in the tires, he performed very well and ended the season in very good form. But these guys,
Couch, it's not about overreacting. It's about analysing.
He has to say what is an overreaction.
Basics of defending. Something that you criticise a lot about is the defence and them not being good enough. It's not specifically about the system right now, because we know with specific players coming in and a bit more time that they're going to, that the system and understanding can improve. All right. We know off the ball there were issues. They look confused. I get all that. But it's just basic defendings that we say. Like this, for example. This is a good example of another one. So Sanchez gets the ball here, right? All right. He can't go to toss him because he hasn't got that chance. We were a little bit narrow in the middle because the inverting. This is the issue with the inverting, right? When you invert, you haven't got the fullbacks. I don't know what's going on over here. So we're a bit stuck here because now it's like we have to play through the middle, but quick. So once it gets up, and I said this earlier on, I don't know if you said what I said. I said this system will call out a lot of these players because it asks you to play very at a level where if you do that little thing wrong, you will get exposed, and it will expose you as an individual and being able to play in this type of system, or being at least able to be comfortable to play in this type of system. And when he receives the ball here, right? Look, don't get me wrong, he's not got much options. Sanchez could have just hoofed it, but he never does. He's not Petrovic. He always looks to play out. It's just how he was even under Poch from last season. Look, he can't do much really. Don't get me wrong, because he's getting shut down here. But the one thing he can do is just a straight pass to toss in. A straight hard pass to toss in, which then he can open his body up, let it roll out to here, and maybe try and find someone to play it down the wing, maybe a midway. But when your pass is this bad. Like it's I don't like it's that bad. It doesn't even go direct to him. Look, it goes that way. It doesn't even go straight. It goes to the Celtic player. Like
he forced a left-footed pass. He forced a left-footed pass, and that's exactly why it went to the left side and went right to the attacker because he used his left. He could have just used his right foot and played it to the.
Yeah, but we know Baddy is very left-footed though, so I just knew he was never going to use his right foot. And to be honest, like it's a bit of a hospital pass from Sanchez. I think Cobble is slightly on the left. Like I think our pictures are kind of covering that part of the screen, but like really Sanchez should survey the situation and then just hoof it. To be honest, because it's a mad situation. Because even the pass from Tosin wasn't the best to deal with. Like he kind of only had to do the one touch and then play it short, but really should have just looked to hoof it pretty much straight away. But yeah, Baddy here is like he's just got to get rid because the pass to Tosin's like it's almost impossible. It's not impossible, but like it's such a difficult pass to play like that, especially on the left foot.
You have to be top to make that.
You're just hitting a straight pass. I don't really get it. I don't think it's.
It's a layoff. It's damn near a layoff for the attacker.
Yeah, but the speed he would have to play it at, and then also not like overhit so Tosin doesn't get put in danger himself. It's like there's a very small margin for error there.
I get that. So maybe like Sanchez here, because now we can see Cole because we couldn't see him earlier. So maybe when Sanchez gets the ball, Colwell was the inverted fullback. I didn't know. Okay, so when he receives it here, what Colwell maybe should have done there, and this is maybe where the midfield, and again, this is probably tactics, maybe where we could benefit, is if you know that these two are going to press forward, just get these two or Colwell as the inverted forward just to pull out here. And then he just plays it over it. Like maybe that's just the little elements of what Maresca needs to then maybe work out of them and drill and go, right, if they're pressing through the middle and we can't play through the middle because we have a moment like we just did there, then I need the inverted fullback that's dropped in the middle to just pull wide quickly so that Sanchez or the goalie, whoever it is, can just play it out wide. Because if he pulls out wide quicker instead of jogging, he might have been able to just dink one over here. Or something.
Sure. You know 100%, like, but that's where like fitness comes into it because again, there's one thing wanting to doing what the manager wants, which is to like press high and all these things, but like those like little 10-yard runs just to make the pitch bigger, like that's a very selfless run to make. And second game of preseason, like you're probably not really on doing that in the 60th minute when he's played the whole game. So like that's where I'm gonna give the players a little bit of an allowance and also understand that we're trying to play a very difficult high risk system, like you said, Jem, but we're 2 games in, so that's why I'm not gonna get too mad at people other than Sanchez. I'm not gonna get too mad at it too tough because we're still early, and I feel like the Club America game we're gonna learn a lot, and then obviously after that City, Real Madrid, and then obviously soon after starting a league against City. It's it's like where we are now, we are quite vulnerable because we've come off 2 horrible seasons for a big club. Like we cannot afford to start slow again, which is where I get that some fans are a bit emotional right now, and I'm like, okay, chill. But I do see that like we cannot afford to start the season off slowly. Preseason, I don't care too tough. We can lose all the games, innit? As long as we then start well against City and definitely beat Wolves, I'm cool. But we need to do those things. We have to start the season off well. Otherwise, boy, it's trouble.
You're not overreacting, Couch. This is not us analysing to overreact. It's analysing to.
We're trying to learn, man.
Yeah, no. For me, it's picking on the individual goals that we conceded and where they can do better as a player. Specifically, and when you're looking at the defense ball watching, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what system you're playing. If you're ball watching, you're fucked. Like you can't be doing that. You just can't be doing that. You got to call it out. Like, and it was called out and it's early doors. I'm not here to criticize them on game 2 of preseason. No, I know there's time systems. I know all this. We're gonna have teething issues. I'm ready for it. I know it's gonna happen. It's just the basics that annoy me because I can't accept when our defense stands and ball watches, watching players making runs into spaces and don't react to danger. I can't accept that. That's what I can't accept. I expect more from us.
The ball watching has nothing to do with the new tactics or anything. So we can address the ball watching, that's not overreacting. That's basic football.
But going from the negatives, there was some positives, right? Because going forward, we created a lot, and I thought Mark Guiu done quite well. Forward in the forward line, the moving forward, the flow. Can you guys see? And I know it's early doors, but can you guys see a pattern and a style of play when moving forward and trying to, break down the defense and try and get in the box and attack the box quickly? I mean, I'll go to Ads first. What was your thoughts on the attacking impotence side of things and how we did? Because we did create a lot of chances, didn't we, in that game?
Yeah. Again, sticking on the positives, which is what you want me to lean onto now. I still want to talk about like the midfield, a little bit of the inverted situation, but then also like the Carney role. I think that's kind of big for me.
Yeah, we can do.
But
Yeah.
no. In terms of the attack, we did create. Again, I think it's too early to say, oh, there's clear like patterns of play and all of this stuff. I'll fall short of saying that, but no, clearly there's a style. We're trying to do certain things, and it did have quite a bit of success. If you look at just the chances that we created, the amount of times we did get Noni into dangerous situations to try and run 1v1 or get crosses in. Again, our crossing in general as a team today was poor the other day, but no, there were certainly things that we were trying to do and create, and certainly the high press at times worked very well because Celtic, who are a good team at playing out the back, we forced them into many errors early on in the game, which we didn't then punish them for. And obviously that can change the flow of a game. And even though it is just pre-season, the result doesn't matter. If we then scored 1 or 2 goals in those first 7 minutes, it can then change the flow of the game. We're a bit more confident, and that can change. So yeah, there was some good things in the attack. I thought Sterling had a good impact, although he had some Sterling moments in there as well. And Kunku, I think, had a good game. I see what Gu brings. He's energetic and everything like that, which is cool. Again, he's not my type of. He's not the striker that I really want for this system, as opposed to what we already have in Jackson. I feel like we need somebody else different. But given the fact that the guy's a kid pretty much, first time in the country, first time playing with us, he had a decent enough impact. But obviously, our wide areas, especially without the likes of Palmer and whatnot, the wide areas leave still a lot to be desired with Mudryk and Madueke. So. Yeah,
but let's get to Madueke because Dill's asked here. He says Madueke was stinking up the place. I agree. I just think Madueke overdoes it. I'm not going to lie, and I still think his final third decision making is very poor. Yeah. Is he going to improve that? Time will tell because that will determine if he goes to that next level as a player or if he just stays as just that player that you have and he can come on and maybe just be an impact because I don't think he can continuously be in this team for me. If he doesn't improve his final third display, and he does the first bit very well, receives the ball, he attacks, he's direct. But it's just his decision-making. A lot of the times with him is, for me, it's just his decision-making to then go, there's the danger, let me play the ball now. And the best wingers always look for the danger moments. Whether they have to use their left foot or their right foot, they will pass. And he don't like using his right foot. And that's a problem for me. Because a lot of the times there's moments where you need to use that right foot rather than cutting on your left. You get played in behind, right? You're running direct, yeah? And you need to use your right foot to cut it back to someone in the box, like maybe an Nkunku who's like that. I'm here. But he cuts back inside on his left foot. By the time he cuts back inside on his left foot, the angles are dead. And then you're having to play outside the box again. And he does that so much, and it does annoy me with Madueke. That's where I'm like, he needs to.
I agree with that. I agree with that. My thing with him is also the decision making, but I also do think he does a lot of good things, and I think it's something that we just have to stick with, Whereas on the other side, when it comes to Mudryk and Sterling, you literally don't know what you're gonna get, and that's a fucking problem. And that's why if we upgrade the wing spot, it has to be on the left wing because we also have Cole Palmer on the right wing. So we really need to focus on that left wing.
I think Angelo showed a bit of display of being able to play the ball quickly against Wrexham. I'm not going to lie, he did because when he receives the ball, he looks to play in quickly in between the pockets, which I like.
We knew that last year, though. And they still didn't take him.
No, I'm saying is that little part of his game. Yeah, that he does. It's just what I want. If Madueke had the Cole Palmer vision, he'd be amazing. He would be unbelievable.
I think the thing with Noni, right? Like people have been very critical of his preseason. Again, it is just preseason, but like again, decision making has been awful at times, and there's been some just really poor moments. And he missed a really big chance in the second half, which could have got us back into the game sooner. But well, I'm not going to say he's been having a good preseason. I don't think he has been having a good preseason. But what he offers is just. He does offer a consistent threat because you feel like consistently he can get the ball and beat his man. And there's a lot of times where he has got to the byline. And if you're just looking at how many times he's got to the byline in these 2 games, that is an impressive number. Now, how impressive has he been once he's got there and once he's had to make a decision and execute? Not very good. And again, I just look at Mudryk. Can Mudryk consistently get to a byline and be dangerous? I'm just not really seeing that. And then with Sterling, he's good at driving at players and And again, he even hit the post coming on yesterday, and he had some all right moments. Sorry, Saturday actually. The game was Saturday, but yeah, man. Again, these wingers, like I've been saying for a long time, I'm not convinced by any of these guys. I'm disappointed, and that's why at least say I was. I wanted this guy so bad, so bad. Yeah. So it's a shame that we couldn't get that one. And I'm looking at the winger market. There's not really many guys near that level at all that we're going to replace it with. So we might have to stick with it, like AJ said, because Noni does have some very good traits, but we're going to have to see a big improvement from last season. And I'm just hoping more than expecting that to happen.
Do you think go on. I was going to say, do you think the quality of players to come back in with Cole Palmer, with the likes of Caicedo, Cucurella playing, do you think that will ultimately, and again, it's early doors because we've not seen it, but do you think that will improve what we're seeing to a degree? Because I do think Cole Palmer might play more of that wider role. I still think Maresca will play a free midfield. I've just got it in my head. And when I mean that, I mean three midfielders, but a Cucurella and Vertin, which means one of the midfielders or two of the midfielders will play further up, whether it's Caicedo, Drewsbury Hall or Enzo or whoever. And then you're having Nkunku playing with a striker and Palmer off the right. That's what I think.
So you mean three like true midfielders, not like...
I feel like we're going to play a three midfielders because I think it's... Yeah. When I watch this system, where I think it's so important I'm not too worried too much about when we have the ball, because I think technically we're good when we have the players on the pitch. I think we will create. That will happen because we do have them players. I think it's when we're off the ball and the positions that we find ourselves, because with a Caicedo, he has the energy to get around and get back and win and help Lavia and that. And when I watched Carney and Nkunku in the first half, they were not looking at going that way. You know what I mean? They were not interested in it. Just left Lavia so isolated in the first game where he was kind of just like on his own. I just feel like having a Caicedo there, maybe a Drewsbury Hall on the left side or an Enzo, people that are able to go forward, but they've got the mindset to know that if they need to get back in and work hard, they can do it. Might help the balance of the flow of what he's doing, because where you're too open in the midfield, it then causes a problem for the defence, because the defence is playing a high line. And once we're playing that high line and you're open in the midfield, it's very easy for whoever's playing in the opposition's midfields or in the pockets to just find them passes in behind us all the time if you haven't got people in midfield that are going to work hard and chase and track. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I think for me, like, I as much as I do like Carney and what he brings, and maybe like on the ball, I don't mind him in that kind of deeper-ish area where, like, you can say maybe he's even almost at times next to Lavia or whoever the DM's going to be. For me, again, I don't want to make conclusions off of preseason. He could still develop this, but I just don't believe we can play with him in a midfield where there's like one DM, he's like the next defensive kind of midfield, and then we have like an Nkunku or Palmer that's on the left. Because maybe you can get away with Nkunku there. I feel like you can still have him there, although he's going to have to offer a little bit more off the ball when we come to like real games. But I just feel like with Carney, he's just not a natural midfielder. And I feel like Leslie coming on, while he wasn't amazing, and I feel like, you know, that the goal that they scored where they caught us in behind, we're tossing up when Noni lost the ball basically in midfield. Like, that's a situation where Carney will probably be more willing to show himself, to show for the ball, right? So I feel like maybe Leslie didn't do that, which gave Noni less options. That's one side of the game where Carney offers more than a Leslie. But just everything else, like defensively, like showing for the ball at times when we're like in the build-up phase, like I feel like Carney doesn't really offer that as much as I would like. And it does leave us open. And like I was mentioning earlier, that when we were pressing super high with 7 up, sometimes even for Fana pressing their midfield all the way high, as soon as they broke any kind of press, Carney wasn't sprinting back the way that I would expect a Gallagher to or Caicedo to in that position. And again, it's pre-season. Maybe he can develop that defensive nous, but I just don't know if he's ever going to have that, which is why Maresca needs to really, just really be aware of who he's going to play and who's going to profile to play in that position.
I agree. Go on. I agree with what you're saying. Adds you see the things, and Jem, you touched on it too. The thing is with those 3 midfield positions, right now in preseason, we're playing with like one natural midfielder. Then you have Nkunku and Chukwuemeka playing the other 2 8s, who are Chukwuemeka's kind of an 8, but he's more of like a 10. He's just an attacking type of player, you know what I'm saying, who you can put in the midfield, where Nkunku is fully an attacker and we're playing him kind of out of position. But with the way the system is, he ends up being closer to the attacker. But I think when the real midfielders come back, Enzo, Caicedo, we have Lavia. I believe in the 3 midfield positions, you have to minimum have 2 of those guys. It has to be 2 of Enzo, Caicedo, and Lavia. And I'm mainly thinking it has to be Lavia and Caicedo. They always have to be in the midfield. Then that third position is where you could kind of play with. That's where the risk could come in, depending on the team we're playing. Do you need another strong midfielder, or do you need a KDH, or can you want to put a Cole Palmer? You want to put it in
Conor Gallagher's back as well.
That's where the risk is going to come from. So it depends. We're not seeing all the options now, but I do think the midfield we're playing right now.
Tell. I think it will. I think he will change, and I think he will try and mold and do and change, and all these things as well. Did I read this out earlier?
Yeah,
I did. Big up Top Dog for that. I appreciate it, mate. I appreciate it. I think there's a lot to be told still with the players that have got to come back in. I want to go back to what Ads was just saying about earlier about the midfield and the inverted role. Reece James in this inverted role. I'm not liking it so far. I'm not going to lie. I think what Maresca needs to do at the moment is he needs to work out who specifically is going to play that inverted role and who's not. And from my opinion, it's got to be Cucurella when he's back, because I think Cucurella is natural. I think he's aggressive. He's just play. He knows it. He's just more comfortable in that. I think the issue,
the Euro doing it.
Yeah, exactly. The Euro's doing it as well. You've got a player there ready to do it, and I just think with Reece, I want him off the wing. I don't really like seeing him just 1-2 and then in the middle and whatever. I think what you'll see with Reece is probably playing as a right centre back. If anything, maybe holding the wing and just playing balls. That's what I would do, and I drop him in. So what do you do with Reece and Mallow? Just play him as a right centre back. Or use them to positions where they can actually play the balls down the wings. I want him to be on the wings, really. And then, if he's going down the route of 3-2-2, 3-2-2-2-1, whatever, which we were talking about earlier, then it's going to leave us very narrow until we get to the forward line where you'll have your wingers potentially. But I want sometimes our fullbacks to still occupy that space because. I don't know. So this is some of the things where I'm looking at Maresca and I'm like, you've got the players to use your wings as well from a fullback.
Yeah, and that's what he didn't have at Leicester. He didn't have a Reece James level operator on the wings to go forward from fullback, or a Gusto level operator. Yeah. So while in the system, absolutely it makes sense for Cucurella to be the inverter. You have to find a way to get the best out of Reece James, and so far he's identified him being good as an inverter potentially. Again, he's been very. He's been kind of tight-lipped with most of what he's been doing behind closed doors, but he said that Reece James has impressed him a lot inverting, as has Gusto. And I see what Reece James can bring, especially because again this is only pre-season. He's somebody that is obviously struggling for fitness, like more than most. So I think he can offer some better things than what we've seen there. But in terms of getting the best out of Reece James, no, I agree with you, Jim, that I would prefer to see him as like a right centre back in our build-up. But then when we get to the middle third and then eventually the final third, we have to find a way to release him from right centre back and allow him to at times time and overlap, or at least be like almost like I find himself in like a right centre mid, but like kind of right midish like kind of position where he can join in the attack, like maybe either invert off the wing or just be on the wing. We have to find a way for him to be able to affect the game like that, because again, we kind of like goals in this team, and he's somebody who can provide us goals and assists. So we need to find a way to do that with him being starting in right centre back, but then also not be open, because we can't have him be forward, our left back be inverted into midfield, and then we have only 2 at the back. We can't do that. So you have to find a way to adapt the system, which he's obviously had from Leicester, but adapt it to these players, because we can't leave Reece James on the halfway line for the whole game. It would make no sense.
I don't see why.
We gotta have a plan. We have to have a plan B. My bad, John. We have to have a plan B. It can't just be this, and for the past couple of seasons, we've really only had like one way of playing, and we have to have a plan B, and I hope Maresca has a plan B, because this is not going to work all the time, especially the narrowness of the team. So I hope that he's really working on a plan B, because if we hit game 4 and somebody has a game plan for us. What are we going to do? The plan B has to be being worked on right now, and that includes wide play.
Yeah, no plan B. I mean, listen, no plan B. I'm just saying what I think. When I agree with Ads what he said. I think we have to find a way where you can play Reece in that right fullback role, fine, when we have Cucurella inverted, but also being able to be a bit more effective off the right, but further up the pitch. And I think you can do that if you have Cucurella and Lavia inverted in the middle anyway, because they can do that when the ball goes wide, if that makes sense. And then that will allow Reece James to get back in position and things like that. So it's like, it just depends how busy the middle is against it.
Just to add quickly, Jem, to your point, though, we did see a little bit of that at the end of the season with Poch, where it was the Brighton game, especially away from home, where Cucurella was kind of inverted, but then also there was times where Gusto would invert, but then also find moments to overlap. So like, you can do it with these players. It just has to be at the right moments. And even when doing that, sometimes Caicedo would then drop into like a right centre back role in like just in the build up. So like, it's possible, but you just have to find the right times to do it. But again, I don't know. Maybe Carter being a bit facetious, but maybe what he's hinting at is the fact that we have to try and perfect Plan A. And I'm not mad at us trying to put a lot of work into trying to get Plan A working, because he's just been here 16, 17 days. So you have to do our best at making Plan A work. But my biggest thing with Maresca is that what I need him to do is to be a much better problem solver than Poch, because Poch, when it came to problem solving with the team, he took way too long to solve situations that we saw as an issue early in the season. It's too early in the season. So if Maresca can do that over the season, then of course we'll give him time. We'll be happy. We'll be able to take some of the licks that we may get in the early part of the season. But as long as he can change things once we see things that are wrong, then that's the sign of a really good coach.
So is that Reece James, number 24? It is, yeah? In the middle?
Yeah.
Right, so you see here, right? So we get the ball here, right? And Reece James receives the ball here. And he's comfortable receiving the ball because he can play one here. Now, where I would prefer Cucurella to do that, personally, and get the ball in here. Listen, this is good direct balls. This is good positions. Listen, we've got numbers up the pitch, people filling in the pockets. It wipes out their line of midfield. It's a good pass into the middle. Once we get to here is where I want, rather than Wesley Fofana being in, is where I want Reece James to be. So that he's working his way up to the halfway line with Noni. So that when Nodi's coming, he can then track back. Because one thing we know Reece James is very good at, and we mentioned, is not only just scoring goals, but he's also good at finding his man with a ball in the box. Yeah, it's important that we have that quality still, being able to create for players in the box that are arriving and stuff like that. So once we get to here, it goes to Madueke. It's very direct, right? Now it's just attack. Madueke cuts inside, plays it. Good little movement from, I think it's Carney there. Good little movement from Carney there. Yeah. And then we find ourselves, and then we get ourselves into another position where Reece James, again, drops here, right? He receives the ball, turns, plays it into Lavia. And then this is the thing for me, right? This is the problem for me. Is I get the whole inverted thing. I just don't like Cole being the left back option. Does that make sense? So, like, I want a natural fullback there because, like, once we get to here, I want someone that's going to be able to receive the ball and carry the ball. So, like, where I would move Reece James and put him back here, I'd put Cucurella here and I'd put Lavia here and I'd have Caicedo further forward.
So you just want to start with a traditional back four and then just either the right back or the left back become the third center back. That's really what you want.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't
Which
know.
Which makes sense in terms of how it will flow.
Like here, right? He's gone with the player, right? That's all good and stuff, right? But then look at how they mucked up there. As I say, there's always the option to pick up this space here all the time. I know Fofana's there, but I just watched it numbers of times in the games where, because he played as the inverted next to Lavia, but very close, and Madueke was further up the pitch, it was just so much space over here. And
but this is the press. This is actually the press that I was talking about, because that's actually Wes that was behind the guy who lost the ball. Like, this is when we were trying to. This is going to be the first 7 minutes. We were pressing super high, creating a lot of chances off of that. And again, to do that for a whole 90 minutes is going to be tough. So again, that just remains to be seen if Maresca can coach these players to do that over 90 minutes.
But this is the good part of it, right? We get a throw in, good hold up play there by Sterling into Nkunku and Nkunku into Guiu, who's one touch forward. And I like this about Guiu. When I was talking about him earlier, do you know what it is for me with him? He works. He's just a problem for defenders. He gets about. You know, he's a nuisance, and I like that. And he's good with the ball at his feet. He's technical because of coming from Barcelona. I can see that. Not too sure about how his goal scoring ability yet, but he's still very young and he's got a bit of speed. But then look, we're on the break, and then Kunku we know is going to find a pass into Sterling. And these are the differences, because once we get to here, and this was good football, by the way, that's just an easy pass across. Just slide it across to Madueke. He overhits it. So, like, they're the little things that, you know, we need to improve on the attacking impotence. But it looks good. It looks good to the...
Jem, you didn't answer that question that was on the screen earlier from Wira. The one before that. Wira. No, the other one. It was one about Reece James.
Walker Peters.
Yeah.
If an offer for Reece comes in that enables us to bring in Walker Peters or someone better, would you guys take it? Comes in that enables us to bring in Walker Peters.
You have to think about that?
No.
Because Walker Peters, how much is he worth, you know?
I'm trying to work out how it works and what we're doing. And I'm just trying, rather than just saying straight up no, I'm trying to understand his question, if that makes sense, because I'm assuming he's going to say he would for asking that question. So, I mean, would you?
Unless the fullback you're talking about is prime Danny Elvis, I ain't considering replacing Reece James for anybody.
Don might. He might ask Don. Don might accept that one because he loves Walker Peters, man. He'd play him off the left, the right.
He's all right, but we don't need him. He'd be all right squad player for us.
Is that Don? Where is Don's burner account?
But Jem, I think, you know, you're right about we could use a left back and a right back, you know, starting with both instead of starting with the three center backs and then one, you know, because, you know, what's the risk in that? You know, we do lose height, but Kukurea is kind of like a left center back, kind of, you know. Reece James has played there. You know, can Gusto do it? That's one of the questions. I don't really like Gusto in the inverted thing, you know, because I just think, you know, he's just full of energy and excitement and 1v1 ability, you know, that, you know, you kind of limit his style way more than everybody else when you put him in the center of the field. So that's, you know, that's something that
my only thing to that though is just that, like, I feel like I wouldn't want to have Gusto in the 100% of the time, but I feel like maybe he can pick moments and we can have certain different patterns of play where we decide to build in a 3-2 or a 2-3 or whatever it is, right? Like, you can just do different things like that. So I feel like that we can definitely try and do to just give us more solutions in terms of building up from the back.
I think Gusto looks more well equipped to do it personally, and I just think it's more because he's agile and he's just, again, a very energetic off the ball. When I watch Reece James, I feel like he moves like a truck a bit. And I'm not and I don't mean in a horrible way, but like when he receives the ball, I just feel like you need to be a bit open with your passing. You need to be able to, like, do you know what I mean? And things like that. I just look at him like, got the ball.
Yeah, he's a bit lax, but that's kind of just his style. And maybe because on the wing you get away with it more because there's more time and space in the midfield. That's my worry for him. It was similar to Trent in the fact that I always knew Trent would struggle in midfield because he's lax as well. He likes to take his time and to be his option. In the midfield, you don't get 10 yards of space to then ping a 60-yard ball. Like, it's different in midfield.
Yeah.
He'd be able to adapt his game. But he played there for Leeds. Is it Leeds or Hull? I think it was, wasn't it? He played there for Hull as a midfielder. I'm not saying he can't do it. It's just, listen.
Wigan, you mean?
Was it Wigan? Sorry,
Wigan. Yeah, Wigan. Yeah.
You know, we only had Reece James fit just to play in his natural position for a long time. And I get we want to try and get him to do other things. I just think to get the balance right of the system, I wouldn't be shocked if Kukurea doing it was a better option and having Reece James just fill in as that right centre back, but more off the wide where he can kind of like be that effective pinger and, you know, what he's good at doing, which we'd like seeing he can do that, and have two centre backs in there rather than having Fofana, Badiashile and Tosin on the pitch or Colwill, because this is the thing with Colwill for me. I don't want to see him on the left. I'm sorry. I just don't.
He was complaining about it last year, and we're dealing with it again now.
With him, and I don't like it. Like, it just doesn't work for me. And if you look at Celtic, at first half, all of their attack came down that left again. And why? Let's be serious, because it was weak. We had Colwill and blimmin' Mudryk. Like, it's just weak. It's not good enough. At least with Cucurella, he's more aggressive. He'll go into the middle and then he'll get himself back in his position. And he's just. I'm not saying he's amazing because we've had problems with Cucurella in the past, but Cucurella is finding that form now, which I like.
Yeah.
I just want to make two last points on this thing with the Reece James inverted thing, right? Like, to your point, I think certainly it's a high energy role when you've seen people do it successfully over the years, whether it's like a Kimmich or whoever, or even even Fabian Delph for Man City. People don't rate him that highly, and I hear it, but very high energy player. So you need a lot of energy to do that, and Reece James being quite lax and whatnot, I don't know if it quite suits him. Whereas Cucurella is a bit more high energy, so I hear that. And then also, if we are going to play like you're saying, Jem, with two natural fullbacks, two centre backs. Against teams who want to be super aggressive like Celtic were, but obviously at a higher level, let's say that the likes of like a Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, I was going to say Real Madrid, but I don't know who we're going to be playing in the Conference League. Certainly not Real Madrid. But against the whole high energy teams, I think we're going to have three midfielders if we're going to be playing with those natural fullbacks and two centre backs, which is going to be Caicedo, then obviously one of Enzo or Lavia, and then is it going to be Gallagher still or Dewsbury Hall?
He can be gone. I like him. Listen, let's quickly do a quick build because I've got a dip, but let's just quickly do one on a. What should we do on a 3-5-2? No, 3-4-1. 3-4-2-1. 3-4-1. 3-4-2-1. Yeah. All right. Even though we don't look like that, we're more narrow.
Yeah. We were kind of like this for most of the game, to be fair, because Reece James is basically like the right DM. So, yeah.
Do you see this Jorgensen coming in and playing for us straight away? Is he even on it? Yeah, he is.
I've never seen one clip of this guy. I need to look.
Well, he's got to be better than Sanchez. Jesus, at kicking the ball.
I think he is. I mean, he was starting for Villarreal, which is a higher level than being on the bench for most of the season for Brighton. I think he looks all right. He wasn't my first choice for sure, but so I wouldn't have picked him. I wouldn't have bought him, but now we've got him in. He has to be the number one. So bring him in. Even if he has one bad game or whatever, he has to be the guy. Leave him in there for the season, and hopefully he goes on to become that guy. So
hopefully,
yeah.
Do you see what I use about the goalkeeper and that in the Chelsea standpoint of having like 3 or 4 goalies, the ranging of 20 to 30 million, rather than having that 180 million goalie, because there's no resale value in goalkeepers. So they don't think it's an area that's important. I hate it.
I despise it. There's no resale value in not winning trophies, my friend. So buy who's best for the role and win. And for goalkeeper, it's not really that much of a position where you need to like build and let him learn and develop. No, you can buy young if you want, but they just need to be ready to do the job right now. Simple as that.
Then the goalkeeper situation has been giving me PTSD since Kepa, bro. Like, I don't know. That transfer has just changed the trajectory of our goalkeepers, because we used to have top goalkeepers.
I don't think we're ever going to, from what I've heard, I don't think we're ever going to spend that kind of money, because they don't think that spending 80 million on a goalie looks good on the books, number one, but number two, there's no resale value in them. So, but I don't get why that matters when you're winning trophies, because the money you win from winning trophies will cover it eventually anyway. So like, it's a weird way of thinking.
Just the same that we decided to do that on somebody who was relatively unproven. Like if you went and spent 70 million on a Maignan or a Colbell, or Oblak in his prime, okay, at least it would have made more sense because they were in their prime. But you didn't. You spent it on a young goalkeeper who's unproven and small. And what's he gone on to do? He's gone on to be very flimsy for us. So
I hate these short goalies, bro. I don't like these short goalies, man.
Jorgensen's only like 6'2" himself. Jorgensen's only just about 6'3" himself, which is slightly on the smaller side. So
maybe our goalkeeping department can improve him. Maybe he gets better at the club. Maybe we eliminate him having to do as much in games. I don't know. I hope so. We'll see.
I hope he becomes world class. Let me just put that out there. I hope he becomes world class. That's what I want. So
what's your back three, guys? What we're doing here? Because obviously we talk about Cucurella playing as an inverted fullback. So what we doing here? Are we playing out of the three? I think for me it's just flick a coin in here at the moment on these lot.
So we're basically saying for the start of the season against Man City and Wolves, basically.
Oh man,
this lineup.
It's stressful already.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
so let's start with the middle then. Who starts in the middle of it? Fofana? No, not Fofana. Tosin or?
I want to see Tosin in the middle. Have we seen that yet?
No, he's been mainly on the right.
Yeah, he's been on the
But
right.
that's because we've been inverting the right fullback. So if Cucurella comes back and we're inverting the left, then Tosin would naturally move across, probably to the middle.
I want to see
So
Tosin in the middle.
I think
yeah,
Tosin in the middle is the right thing to do. I don't want to see Disassi there. Disassi might be another option.
yeah.
Then,
I mean, I would have gone Trev, but obviously he's not in the equation right now,
Yes,
clearly. So
that's what I
it's
was
gonna
gonna
have to
say.
be Tosin at this point.
Yes.
So
We have
who
to
do you
depend on Tosin for a lot. I feel like, I just want to put that out there.
So are we agreeing that Reece James plays there? Yeah.
Well, Gusto for now, because obviously Reece is banned in it, so
Reece
Oh
is
yeah, I
banned.
forgot. Yeah,
gonna be
3
Gus to
games
start the
too.
season.
Not no joke, man.
I don't mind Gusto
Didn't he
there.
already miss one? So was it like 2 games now, right? Or
I'm not even
forgot
sure.
that.
This is 4 games.
Was it?
Four.
Are you
Oh,
freaking serious? 4
This
games?
is four games.
Wow.
Mate. He said he misses 4 games. Yeah.
Oh, because he got 2 reds in the season. Oh, that's stupid,
Yeah.
man.
And it was some
That's no.
stupid red too, bro.
Yeah.
So are we happy to seeing you guys are hitching your wagon on Tosin? Oh, Couch, we have to choose of what we got, mate. So don't make this a whole thing of we just like putting our hopes on one defender.
We want to put the saucy there, like what are we doing?
Coach, you're overreacting.
Couch, you're overreacting, man.
Listen, gonna have to be Tosin, man, unfortunately.
Do you know what? I don't think he will play Gusto there. I'm not going to lie, because I actually think James can play in that right centre back role. I don't think I can't get out of this. What's going on?
He needs to give it a try. He needs to get the next game. Who we
But Gusto's only there for the build up, because otherwise you're gonna be basically playing Disasi there or Fofana, and then they're gonna be right back, just like you don't like Colwell left back. It's gonna be that. So I feel like for me, I'd rather just play Gusto there.
Yeah,
obviously just for build up, and then defensively we defend in a fullback.
Yeah. So who do you play next to Tosin then? Who's your got Fofana?
Well, for me, it needs to be a left footer, and I prefer Colwell to Obadi at this stage. But again, I'm looking at both closely. Both need to do a lot more to like improve their stock at this club. But I will still go with Colwell at this point.
Jesus Christ, we got.
It's stressful,
I don't like our defenders, man. What about? I mean, it's no Fofana, yeah. No Fofana in the team.
No, he's got a lot of work to do to build up his fitness.
Yeah. He needs to earn it. He needs to earn it.
All right, so who's playing in the middle then? We're going for Lavia Caicedo? No.
Well, no, we have to have our left back. So obviously, between Cucurella and obviously Vega, we'll see how he does in the next few weeks. But yeah, Cucurella to start, I guess. So.
Gray and Lavia in the middle. Would you be happy with that? Do you think that could be quite good? To be fair, be aggressive.
I think it will be Fernandez. I think it will be Fernandez to start the season.
I think it's because the lineup is not exactly what
Enzo Fernandez.
Yep, as the DM, because again that was the role that Winks played. Like, so this is we're talking about in possession. We're talking about in possession, basically our formation.
You think Enzo will play here? Really?
No, I'm saying Enzo will play where Lavia. I don't think Lavia is going to start the season. To be honest, I think it's going to be Enzo that will start there. Obviously, and then Cucurella still inverting, because again, we're just talking about in possession. So I don't want people getting in their heads, because I'm going to probably put Caicedo right forward. He's not actually right forward, but like we're talking about just in possession.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's going to be kind of this, basically.
And then who's on the left?
Well, whoever the left winger is, which is flipping Sterling, Modric, Tariq George. Tariq George. It's gonna have to be Sterling at this point, but I wanted a winger here, man. We ain't looking like buying one, unfortunately.
Okay, interesting. And then,
so you guys saw where Carney was playing, right? Carney, if you looked at his heat map, was basically right forward. Obviously, when we're defending, he's a bit more defensive, and I'm not saying Caicedo is going to spend the whole game as a right forward. It's just the two in the middle is going to be like Enzo and Cucurella, and then the box-to-box midfielder, which again is like a role that Gallagher played a lot last season. I think it's going to be maybe Caicedo having more of that role. Again, it could be Enzo. Again, we'll see how Maresca profiles the both of them, because they can both play both roles really. But maybe it's going to be Enzo to start deeper and Caicedo ahead. But I guess we're gonna have to see. But for me, if we're looking at it like this, Enzo's going to be the deeper one, and then Caicedo's going to be basically right forward.
Okay.
And then right mid is going to be whoever our right winger is, which is going to be, I mean,
I'm going to go
Palmer actually. Yeah, Palmer, not Noni. Palmer.
Yeah. Palmer, and then I'm going to say Nkunku. How about you guys?
So you swap Palmer and Caicedo, even though this was kind of mad, but it's kind of what the shape is basically. And then. Yeah, strikers. Well, obviously, when you got one senior striker in it, so yeah.
Jackson's going to play in him. Let's be serious. So
only senior striker we got.
Jesus Christ,
So
it don't look that much different to
but
last
obviously,
season.
if you go back to like a 4-4-1-1, which is kind of what the shape's going to be off the ball, basically.
Yeah.
Because then it'll be obviously Cucurella back at left back. Yeah, 4-4-1-1 or 4-2-3-1, just anything with like. Yeah, basically that. So then obviously Cucurella will go back to left back, Gusto right back. Enzo will then be right centre mid. Oh, sorry, left centre mid. Caicedo will be right centre mid. And then obviously starting off the left, Palmer right, Nkunku in the middle behind Jackson. So that's what will be like off the wall, basically. So yeah, obviously that looks a lot more orthodox. Again, we'll see between Enzo and Caicedo who's going to be sort of like the deep line playmaker, because Caicedo showed he could do that for us last season. But then if you look at who's going to have more energy to do the box to box role, you would say Caicedo kind of suits that more as well. So potentially a Lavia Caicedo pivot could make a lot more sense than an Enzo Caicedo pivot. We just have to wait and see how it plays out.
But you see, the thing with this pivot and this system is they're way closer, and I do think that can assist Enzo and Caicedo, because in the few instances we saw last year when they played well together, they were actually close to each other. And in this system, we're so narrow where they can use their intelligence to actually make something work. But I do also think that we're going to see a lot of Lavia and Caicedo in the same team.
I would be more inclined to think that this is going to happen. I don't know why. I think we're going to have. I keep saying that. I think we're going to have a 3-man midfield, and I think it's going to be like that. Weirdly enough, and then
but then the width is there's no width in this team. Everybody wants to cut inside.
Yeah, but we don't play.
And then for how we play, then also you're saying Gusto's right centre back. It's going to be hard for him to offer width from there in the build up.
But then when we go to a 3 at the back, let's say these are all crap. It would be more like, and this is the problem. It's going to be more like. It's weird because I think it changes. I reckon it will go more like. Well, no, it won't, because Lavia will be on the left. I think Enzo will be the one that gets drugged out, and in ball, I think Caicedo and Lavia will be the ones that are more central.
Or maybe you can go to like a 3-1-4-2, so like 1 centre mid, 2 centre mid, 1 DM, 2 centre mids, and then 2 strikers. Maybe it could be like a two striker system, maybe.
And because then Nkunku and the striker are playing very close to each other, which I noticed. Every time you press the striker press, they kind of like when there's a 2 rather than just a 1. So, and that was off the ball as well. So, like, maybe you see that, but then what do you do with, obviously, Cucurella will be over there. Yeah, and it'd be more like that on the ball. Do you know what I mean? Which could work as well.
But then I don't really want Cucurella that high and wide.
But I don't think he will be. I think what will happen
He'll be inverted in.
I think Enzo will be the one that joins them with Palmer bringing on the width, cutting inside along with Caicedo, and I think he will just go like that next to Lavia.
That's why we're so narrow, because all the wide just gets evacuated, you know.
Well, I wanted Elise, because Elise offers good playmaking ability from wide. Palmer can do it, and Palmer obviously had a good season. Most of it was out wide. I thought for me he was better central, but like Palmer can do it out wide, but I just don't want him to be out wide again. That's our best player. Like that's our best attacking threat. I don't want him to be wide when I want him in the middle to be the hub of the team.
Who would you say is our best touchline attacker, though? Who would you say?
Unfortunately, Noni. That's how it is right now.
That's why I'm like, it has to work with him, because apparently that's one of the features of Maresca's game, where there has to be one wide midfielder on the touchline.
But even if Kieran Dewsbury will come, and this is what I think Kieran Dewsbury will be switched around with Enzo. I think that'll be them two. I can't even spell his name. I don't know, what is it?
Kieran. Oh,
Drew. Yeah. Oh, I can't. What is it? KDH? Did it come up with KDH? No,
it won't come up like that.
Let's search Dewsbury.
Yeah,
Dewsbury, I think it is. No R.
It's Drew, isn't it?
No, it's Dewsbury. DE.
DEW.
DEW. Yep. There it is.
None of these, mate. You're in Leicester. Change your kit. Maybe he switches and you have him there, and he's more inclined to play off that like left attacking influence, which I saw a lot of him do. Like that's his role, being up there and playing create for
Yeah, he
these.
even played false nine for a bit of the season as well.
For these two players, so he probably gives you more going forward than Enzo in the attacking areas because he's natural.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? From a central midfielder, I'm talking about. With Enzo, Enzo could be the deepest when he plays. Don't be shocked about that.
He'll be next to the inverted. If Enzo's next to the inverted right back or left back, whoever it is, then that technically could work because now you have Enzo on the ball with somebody next to him, to protect.
But then you could play Enzo. It may be Enzo and Lavia are switched then, and maybe Enzo plays there rather than Lavia. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean?
But obviously to that point, Enzo's had a long summer and also some extracurricular activities as well. So maybe he needs time to reintegrate back into the team. So maybe Couch's point is right, and I think I probably agree. If Lavia obviously continues to start most of these games, build up good fitness and good form as well, he probably will start the season as the DM. And obviously Caicedo would then slot in maybe to that sort of Carney kind of role. He's looked good. He's looked good. Some things I want him to improve, but again, it's preseason, so you give these guys time.
He hasn't played too. He hasn't played in a long time.
Yeah, of course.
Enzo and Lavia will be fighting for minutes. Interesting. Now, listen, look, we will do another one before the Man City game. After we've seen the Madrid, the Inter Milan, the City game that we've still got coming up. We've got the game on Thursday as well, which is our last game in the US, I think. Are we playing City and Real Madrid in the US as well? I think we are.
No, I think it's at Stamford Bridge, right?
I don't know. I actually
don't know. I know it's in Europe. I'm not sure where. I feel like it's
so the Club America game is our last game in the States.
Yeah.
So where are they playing? They must be because they're playing Real Madrid at 12 at night, so that's got to be somewhere.
Yeah.
And they're playing Man City at 10:30 at night on Saturday, the 3rd. So, listen, lots to look forward to. We've got a busy week of preseason games. Thursday's game against Club America, then Saturday's game against Man City, and then we'll go into the Real Madrid game the week after, along with Inter Milan, which is our last game before we have that first game against Man City. Guys, it's nearly 2 hours in. It's been a good show. It's been a good one to get back into. Lots and lots to still wait and see. We've still not seen the likes of Drewsbury Hall, the Cucureas, the Palmers, the Caicedos. We've still got all of them to come back into this system.
Don't forget Galadog. Don't forget
Enzo.
Galadog. It looks like Atletico is very interested in Galadog at the moment. He could still be sold by the end. They're saying in the latter ends of August. Maybe that happens as well. We'll see. But it's been a good show, guys. I mean, appreciate you all coming in as well. Ads and AJ as well. It's been a good one. We will do a show on Monday, and then we've got the game on Thursday, haven't we? Is it Thursday? Let's have a quick look. Yeah, Thursday at 12:30. So if we do the next time you'll see us is Thursday afternoon, guys. So the game starts Thursday morning at 12:30. You will see us at 1 o'clock or 1:30 for the reaction for that, guys, as well, and we will talk. All right.
Sounds good.
Sweet.
Okay, guys. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you again very soon, guys. Take care. Peace out. Peace.